Code of honor, number 10, effectively communicate. Ineffective communication, how do we do that with our friends, our teachers, our parents, if we're a parent with our children, or with coworkers or boss or customers? How do we communicate effectively? Much of communication is rooted in the deep understanding of personalities. And so we've talked about in the Code of Honor at various times about different personalities, and I'd encourage you, go through the personality mastery training. There's many different types of training you can go through with Life Masteries Institute. That's amazing. With the analytical personality, the cube, they will tend to communicate in very precise manner. A, B, C, subpoint 1, 2, 3, D, E, F. That's how they like to communicate, and that's how they like to be communicated to. They will often give the other three personalities more detail than what those other three personalities want, and it actually reduces the effectiveness of the communication, because they'll tune out, especially the driver personality and the expressive personality. They'll tune out and not get the most important things. So if you're an analytical personality, learning to say less, because the less words we say, the more impact each word has, that's effectively communicating. If we're communicating to the analytical, we need to learn that they like probably more words, details, coherent thought process, not all different types of communications going on. Communicating to a driver, a pyramid personality, they like the big picture. They don't like the small details. They typically do not like details about the people side. It's the task that's important to them. The expressive personality, the wavy line, they want communication in lots of energy, so a lot of body movement. And so if there's not lots of excitement and energy and enthusiasm, they're probably not going to be interested in that communication. And the amiable, the ball, they like communication in softer tones, not so fast, really communicating and connecting in a deep way. And so they're not so much the task, but the people side. So communicating to the various personalities, literally each one of the four personalities has a different language. And learning that different language is so important. Now, if throughout the whole process you've said, I don't know if I buy into any of this personality stuff. I mean, I don't like any of them, or I like all of them, or I'm not really sure. You're probably the inner quadrant, or the chameleon personality. You have the natural ability to adjust into any one of the different personalities. And so your greatest strengths might be flexibility. One of your greatest weaknesses might be flexibility. Again, greatest strength is greatest weakness. Greatest weakness is just our greatest strength. Misapplied is taking a strength and carrying it too far. In communication with that individual will tend to flex into any one of the various personalities. So communicating is so important to the Code of Honor, and learning how to communicate in the different language styles that each one of the different personalities have is very, very important. Again, in school with your teacher, in with our friends, with our parents, or if we're parents with our children, or in our career, just in community types of things. Those are important. So, as promised, I wanted to share the adult principle. Again, the teenage principle is teenagers tend to be overconfident things they should be underconfident, and underconfident things they should be overconfident. We all have teenage, tendencies. We have blind spots in our life. Every one of us have blind spots. And so we need to understand that. We need to be aware of it. The adult principle is interesting because my wife and I, we went to Orlando to Disney World, and I was doing some speaking there, and we took a few extra days off just for her and I, having some fun. And we left the kids with the grandparents, and my 15-year-old daughter, Katrina, she kind of speaks her mind. They're pretty direct. And she had run-ins with both grandmas, one in particular very strong. Grandma was crying. Grandma was hurt. Grandma was angry. There were, aunts and uncles that got involved in it. It got to be so significant, so severe. And when I got home, I was talking to Katrina, and I said, Katrina, honey, I don't understand this. I mean, you know that you're to honor, Grandpa and Grandma, and you just tore Grandma to pieces. I don't get it. What's going on? And she says, well, Dad, Grandma said that I was lazy. Grandma said that, I wasn't nice. Grandma said that, I wasn't disciplined. Grandma said these things. And I said, well, Katrina, that's the truth. That's the truth. You are those things. I don't have any problem with, Grandma saying that about you, because it's the truth, honey. You are that way. And with teens, you got to be really careful. And she kind of looked at me, kind of cocked her head. She said, Dad, that's interesting. Okay. And she said, well, I just said this and this and this about Grandma. And I said, well, honey, you can't say that. And she said, why not, Dad? It's the truth. And I didn't know what to say, because it was the truth. I tried to get out of it. It didn't work so well. I said, well, honey, you can't say that. You still, but she said, but it's the truth. Teenagers are amazing at sensing truth. And it dawned on me, and I'm like, that's interesting. The other grandmother came to me and was talking to me over the phone, and she said, you've got to do something with your daughter. She's just, I said, I understand. Yes, that's tough. What she did was not right. But what about Grandma? Who's going to deal with Grandma? It's not Grandpa. He's learned. It's not me. I'm not going to deal. It's not going to be my wife. She's not going to deal. It's not going to be any of the others. Nobody's going to deal with Grandma. And so I said to the other grandma, I said, well, you're a peer of Grandma. Why don't you deal with Grandma? Why don't you deal with her on these issues? Because my daughter was wrong, no question about it. It's not an excuse, but she's going to change. You expect me to help my daughter to change, and you're unwilling to address a peer and say, you know what you did was wrong. You owe Katrina an apology. Nobody's willing to do that for Grandma. And then it dawned on me, the adult principle. And adults expect more from teenagers than they do from themselves. They expect teenagers to change, and teenagers, they see the flaws of the adult, their parents, their teachers, leaders. They see the flaws of them, and they see that they're not changing, they're not acknowledging where they're wrong, and they're not changing, and that creates rebellion. So Katrina was right in that situation more than I was. I don't know what the solution is. And so these stories, these natural laws, Grandma wasn't raised with 12 principles or the 10 rules of the game. But grandmas need this as much as 5-year-olds need this. Grandpas benefit from this as much as teens do. These natural laws are amazing. And when we understand and we practice these natural laws, it's life-changing. So I trust, Life Masteries trusts, the individual and or organization or company that provided these to you they care a lot about you. They want to make a difference in your life. If you're a child, you have so much potential. I want you to know that I believe in that so much. I really do. There's so many things that are very true about you that are probably very true about my children. And I love all 7 of my children so much. And there are people out there that love you a great deal as well. And if it's not somebody in your life right now, there is somebody out there for you. And connect with Life Masteries. Find a teacher, find somebody in your life, because there's somebody that really, really loves you very, very deeply and passionately, and they want to make a difference in your life. We trust these have all been life-changing for you, whether you're a child or a teen or an adult. These natural laws really apply to all of us, every single one of us, in every area of our life. Thank you so much for taking your time. If these have been beneficial to you, share them with others. Because as we help other people reach beyond their dreams and goals in every area of their life, they'll help us too. And together we truly can accomplish so much more than we ever could on our own. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day.